Hello everyone, thanks for attending today's training workshop. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to be talking about how to optimize your website for maximum conversion and lead flow. Now, this is all part of your overall 21 internet marketing plan. So earlier this year, we took a look at the big picture of your internet marketing strategy, from your website to SEO to pay-per-click, social media, Google local service ads, retargeting, and everything in between. And what we're going to do throughout the course this year is to drill down into specific aspects of that overall plan. All of this really fits into the overall ecosystem of what we like to call our digital dominance method. All these individual marketing channels, as well as various tactics and strategies. And the foundation of your internet marketing strategy is to make sure you have a great website that's built to convert and that's ranking in the non-paid listings. This way you can get as much organic, low-cost traffic to your website as possible without having to go deep into your budget buying ads. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is really how to maximize conversions on your website and have it performing at its full potential. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is really how to maximize conversions on your website and have it performing at your full potential. So there's some housekeeping before we get started. If you don't mind, everyone, let's turn off our cell phones, to close Facebook. If you're really serious about doubling or tripling the amount of leads you get for your remodeling or home improvement company, let's give this next 60 minutes or so our undivided attention and complete focus. So real quick, who am I? I'm a self-admitted computer geek that learned how to write code way back in the mid to late 80s, and so everything with digital comes pretty natural to me. I'm also a former home remodeler and custom home developer, having been involved in building some million-dollar custom homes here in Denver and active in the fix and flip real estate market. I'm also an industry partner with NARI, the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, as well as the NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders, in addition to the Denver Home Builders Association. I'm widely accepted as one of the top experts in internet marketing for remodelers, builders, and home improvement companies. More importantly, though, is I've had a chance to work with countless remodeling and home improvement companies across the country, and we've been able to take them from virtually no placement online to the point where now they're the dominant player in their respective markets. And I'm the author of Internet Marketing for Contractors and Builders: How to Triple Your Sales by Getting Your Internet Marketing Right. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend you check it out. It kind of unpacks our overall digital marketing strategy. So if you don't have a copy of it yet and you'd like to get a copy of the book, put a comment in chat right here, and we'll reach out to you and get one mailed out to you free of charge, because we want you to have as much knowledge as possible when it comes to marketing your company online. What I share with you about internet marketing and about SEO, about your website, isn't based on theory. It's based on my experience working with companies just like yours in the remodeling, new construction, and home improvement service trades. At this point, we've worked with enough companies that we have access to the analytics and the data. So we really know down to the click how things will convert, what has bigger impact, and what works best. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you over the course of today's training session. So let's dive in. I always like to start with a problem remodeling and home improvement companies are facing. There's no sense sitting in a session about websites and website optimization if there's not a problem to be solved, right? And the issue, as I see it, is that you guys are in this space as a whole making a big investment in marketing. Unlike some other industries, you guys spend a lot of money on internet marketing because the ROI is usually there, or at least it's supposed to be. You do SEO and pay-per-click. You've tried the big box marketing companies, then the little companies, or the guy across the street, or the guy that sits in your BNI meeting trying to market for every industry. And you know that in order to keep the phones ringing, to keep your crews busy and happy year-round, to keep business really going strong, you have to make an investment in marketing. And you guys are not shy about making that investment in your internet marketing strategy when it makes sense. But oftentimes you get traffic, right? You know you're spending all this money, you're investing in SEO and pay-per-click, and you get a bunch of traffic, but not enough leads from that traffic, right? Essentially, not enough phone calls are coming in. And in a lot of cases, there's low return on investment. You spend $1,000 on pay-per-click and you get $1,000 worth of revenue, or a little more than that maybe. And that's enough to maybe it covers the expenses, but it's not enough to have profitability in order to really grow your company. And that's what I really think is the biggest potential problem is that you wind up with an empty schedule and downtime for your employees or subcontractors. One of the biggest challenges in this world right now is getting good qualified craftsmen. We all know that, right? I want to hear from you in the comments if you agree. One of the biggest struggles you have isn't getting the phone to ring. It isn't generating leads. It's really finding good quality tradesmen, keeping them trained, and keeping them busy throughout the day and keeping them from looking for work elsewhere. And so I like to hear a yes or absolutely or heck yeah. That's one of the biggest challenges if that's the case for you, right? Okay, a lot of people saying, yeah, okay, no doubt that's a legitimate concern for everybody. So if you're spending a bunch of money on marketing and you're not generating enough leads, the biggest challenge is the opportunity cost of a craftsman that you hire, that you recruit, that you train, not having enough jobs to really cover their expense and to keep them busy enough for them to make the kind of money that they need, and then losing those quality employees to another bigger competitor of yours. And so if you can't solve for this, you're going to have big problems, right? If you can't convert the visitors that come to your website at the highest level possible, then you're not going to generate enough leads so you can grow. So here's the opportunity, right? Really the opportunities to make sure that you've got a great website, not just a website because we all want to be impressive and we all want to look good, but we really want a great website that's built to convert, that takes those people that get to the site and converts them into callers. Really what we want is to be able to consistently convert our traffic from whatever source, SEO, pay-per-click, social media. Someone sees one of your trucks and types in your website on their phone maybe. We need to be able to convert those visitors into callers, into leads at the highest level possible. Really, when we do that, we can have a full schedule with all your crews staying busy and consistent growth and momentum in your businesses. And that's really what I think is the opportunity, is that we get the phones ringing, the trucks running, and our businesses are booming. So here's the deal. The website, your company website is the hub, right? Whether you realize it or not, your customer, before they call you for service, before they do business with you, for the most part, they're taking out their phone, they're typing in something like home remodeling company in my city, maybe design build company in my area, and they're winding up at your website either on their desktop, on their mobile phone most probably, and whether that was probably because they saw your pay-per-click ad or potentially they heard one of your radio ads or they saw one of your trucks go by, they're going to wind up on your website. And if your website isn't compelling and it doesn't convert the highest level possible, it brings down the effectiveness of the other advertising that you do as a company. So that's why I start here as it relates to your internet marketing strategy, because it's the hub, because everything flows through your website. We have to make sure that it's as dialed in as possible and to make sure it's a bucket that's converting and not leaking visitors and leaking traffic from all over the place. I just want to draw an illustration here why conversion is so important. So here's scenario one. Let's just say your remodeling or home builder website gets 500 visitors per month. And so let's just say your average conversion rate's in between 5 and 10%. Not great, a pretty conservative number actually, but let's just say you're averaging 5% of the visitors that get to your website end up calling in. That would mean for that 500 visitors at a 5% conversion rate, you generate 25 leads, right? Now let's say your conversion rate from phone call to book job is 30%. Ideally, we'd like to see a higher rate than that as well, but I want to use conservative numbers just to drive this point home. That would mean for these 500 visitors, you generated 8 book jobs. Let's say your average ticket is a low $20,000. I know a lot of you guys have a much higher ticket than this, especially if you're doing high-end remodeling or custom homes, which could drive your average transaction value to $50,000 or even in 6 figures. But even if just conservatively it was $20,000 average transaction value, you generate $160,000 in booked revenue from that 500 visitors. Now, if we could just make a couple tweaks and a couple improvements to our website and really get it to convert at a better level without spending any additional dollars on advertising, we can take that same traffic, that same flow of visitors that get into our website, and let's say we bump it to a 15% conversion rate. And of course, we have clients converting at 25, 30, 35%. So when you dial this in, you can have a much better conversion rate. But let's just say you can improve by 5% to 15%. That would mean the same amount of traffic, 500 visitors, you generate 75 calls How many of you guys would like to have 75 calls versus 25, right? Same amount of visitors, but you're converting at a higher level and you keep that same 30% conversion rate. That would mean instead you had 23 booked jobs instead of 8 jobs. Same average transaction value, you generate $460,000 in revenue as opposed to $160,000. So as you can see, you really triple the amount of revenue just by improving the conversion rate on your website. And of course, you can improve your conversion rate and you can improve your average transaction value when you do that. Your multiples in revenue growth can really start to look different. We want to take your conversion rate from wherever it's at right now and maximize it. Get it to the point where it converts visitors from whatever source at the very highest level possible, because this has a ripple effect and it has ramifications across all the advertising you do in your business. So I want to show you an example of the impact that conversion can actually have without putting any other paid search or any other marketing channels in place besides your SEO program. And one of the best case studies I can have for this is Classic Remodeling Northwest. They're a home remodeling and design build firm up outside of Seattle, Washington. They're a great company. We've had the opportunity to work with them for 2 years now. But when we first started working with them, they had a very basic website, probably typical of what most home remodeling websites look like. Some stock photos, a lot of technical jargon about their services and things like that. But then we updated their website, brightened it up quite a bit, added conversion elements like calls to action, added real photos of the owners, Sedora and Ward Hampson, added real photos of their staff, of their work, some before and after photo, things like that. So they were averaging from their website about 100 visitors per month. And we rolled out an updated version of their website, and without driving more traffic through paid ads or doing anything else, their website visits increased to almost 600 visitors per month, and their call volume increased from about 5 calls per month to around 55 calls per month currently. And so that's really what's possible here when we get our websites dialed in, when we make sure that they're built to convert. In other words, improve conversions, maximize your incoming lead flow, improve your traffic sources by ranking better on Google, as well as maybe driving more paid traffic with a good website that's built to convert, and it can really multiply your results over time. So I just wanted to leave you with that example to kind of give you a sense of what's possible with your business when you get this really dialed in. So before we dive into nuts and bolts and we start looking at real world examples, post in the comments, what are you most excited about as it relates to getting your conversions dialed in? Why is this important for you? Help me out here. Let's make this an interactive training. Why is conversion optimization important? Okay, so we have increased business across service areas, expand your service areas. Okay, makes sense. Make more money from your current traffic, getting a better return on investment from the services that we provide. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Colleen. Appreciate that. Thank you, Tyler. Really appreciate you all engaging with me. It does help to make this as an interactive process. Joe says increased profits, period. Higher return on investment. Okay, no doubt about it. Okay, so let's dive into the nuts and bolts on this. I put together a worksheet that will help you guys track along with me today. The worksheet lists the 12 critical elements for maximizing conversions, as well as suggestions, questions for you to ask yourself on whether your website is actually set up to convert at the highest level possible. Now, I want you to be able to take this and implement it in your real world business and start to get results and start to increase lead flow and closing more jobs. Now, you're not on this training session just for the fun of it, right? You came on because you want to have your website converting better. And so this workbook will help you track along and get better results. If you need the workbook, go to www.homeremodellerseo.com/workbook, and you can download it and print it out, and we can track along together and really make sure you're clear on the specific steps to maximize conversion. So make sure everyone's got that URL dialed in. Download your workbook if you haven't already. So this number has grown over the years, but there are really 12 critical elements to conversion. I'm going to talk through them at a high level, and then we're going to look at real examples of how this looks in the real world. So first, I want to make sure that you're speaking to your customer avatar. Most remodeling and home improvement websites I look at They could be very technical sounding, but they can also be lacking in information on what it's like to work with you. In other words, what is your process? What are the steps you go through in terms of initial consultation, design phase, different phases of construction, etc.? They have concerns and frustrations. They want someone that respects their home and understands their vision, but they also want to make sure they don't get ripped off. They want to make sure that you're going to show up on time, that your communication with them is going to be solid throughout the entire project. And so you want to make sure you get this messaging above the fold on your website. The messaging at the bottom of your page speaks to their fears and their frustrations, but the emotional triggers we find have the biggest impact on conversion. That messaging needs to be front and center on your website, on the upper third of your website. Number 2 is make sure that you're authentic. By that I mean to use real photos of you, the owner, use real pictures of your team, and kind of sprinkle those throughout your website. We found that people that want to do business with real people. They want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. We've split tested this across dozens of remodeling and home services websites that we've rolled out. And the ones that have real pictures, maybe not the fanciest, maybe not the prettiest, but the real pictures of the owner and the team, those work the best for displaying authenticity. It was as much as 2 to 3 times better conversion rates because, again, people want to do business with real people. So don't be corporate with your website. Don't use stock imagery. Use real pictures. Showcase before and after photos of your projects. Now, also, where possible, you want to use multimedia and video. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, if that's the case, then a video is worth 1,000,000 words. Because if you, the owner, can stand on camera and share more about your company and your passion for helping customers bring their visions to life, that's going to convert exponentially better than one of your competitors' website with stock images that all say the same thing 100 other websites say. So let them know that you specialize in helping people in this particular area of remodeling and some reasons why people would choose to work with you. Let them know you're always available to stay in touch with them, that you always show up on time and keep the project on schedule, and that you'll make sure that their satisfaction is guaranteed. If they can see you and hear you, and if you've kind of interspersed that messaging throughout your website, it gives you a massive competitive advantage from a conversions perspective. So if you want a website video welcome, and ideally you want a video for each of your services, speaking to each of those services and some of their distinctions, and you definitely want to have some type of video that explains why somebody would want to choose you versus the competition. Like, what's your unique selling proposition? If you can make that really clear on the video, why choose you, and incorporate that into each of your videos and those service videos, you're going to give yourself a massive competitive advantage. Number 4 is you want to make sure you're leveraging social proof. Anyone can say that we're a great remodeling company, we're a great home builder, or a great home service company, right? We're awesome. Our pricing is great. We show up on time. We're going to get the job done right the first time, right? Of course, there's something to be said for saying that about yourself, but naturally when everyone says good things about your company, that gives prospective new customers the positive reinforcement they need in order to choose to work with you. The company with more customer testimonials, more great things being said about you, the company, that's going to be the company that give people the reason why customers choose you. You want to make that front and center on your website. And where possible, you want to make those videos visible on every page of your website. If you have client testimonial videos, those are awesome. Those work so well because they're so much more real and authentic. And so you want to just make sure you're leveraging this social proof. Bringing that into your website really has an impact on conversion. And there's some very basic fundamental things that you can do on your website that really impact conversion rates that get missed a lot of the time on remodeling and home service websites. That's having your phone number in the top right hand corner, right on every page where they can clearly see it, and where most people are used to looking for your phone number anyway. And this was proven out in some marketing study, and that's why we say that. A lot of times people peruse your website very briefly, and then they make a snap decision to just go ahead and make the call. So you want to make that number readily available for them. And you also want to make sure that it's a click-to-call phone number that can open up right in their browser or phone dialer, especially if they're on their phone. More people access the internet these days from mobile devices than they do desktop computers. So Google wants to have an easy-to-use click-to-call phone number in order to provide a better user experience known as UX. You also want to share that there's a web form that people can fill out. Not everybody's in a place where they can make a call. Sometimes they're at the office and they just want to start the process and just request a consultation. So you always want to make sure that it's easy for them to request someone to reach back out to them. You also want to leverage credibility, displaying logos if you're a member of the BBB or if you're a member of a remodeling association. These are usually symbols that they recognize and will give you instant credibility. You also want to have clear calls to action. Make sure there's a clear call to action on every page. Each one of your pages, you want to be asking them to do something, to call you, to fill out a form, to inquire about special financing, things like that. You want to guide them in what to do next. Next, make sure that the website is mobile optimized with click-to-call functionality. As I said above, we're finding something like 60 to 70% of your visitors are getting to your website from mobile devices more than ever before. And the experience that they have on a mobile phone is different than the experience that they have on a desktop. So you want to make sure that the website fits nicely on the mobile phone when they browse it, and that they can click on a button and be calling your office and not have to worry about redialing. This one, number 8, can have a massive impact on how well or how poorly your website converts. Also, make sure you're leveraging live chat because this has been a major shift, and we're seeing it more and more in all types of home services companies. As people have become more mobile adaptive, they're walking around with their cell phones. Everywhere they go, they do everything on their cell phones. So most people would rather engage via chat or a text message than a phone conversation just to get things started at least. I want to hear from you all in comments. How many of you would prefer if you had the option to engage via chat or a text message or Facebook Messenger with someone as opposed to a phone call? Just put text message or chat or phone in the comments. All right, so, okay, I can see, yeah. So we got text, yeah, 100% text, live chat without a doubt. Awesome. All right, so, thanks for contributing. You guys are doing this. Other people are doing this too. This is the reality for your customers as well, where they feel confident that they can actually get something done without having to ask, to talk to somebody. They're going to take that opportunity first. And so you want to make sure that you're using chat or two-way text messaging on your website so that somebody can choose that. And the technology exists now where you can serve your customer, get them booked and dispatched into your CRM without having to have a live conversation just to get that ball rolling. So make sure you're not missing that. And the remodeling and home services companies that get this dialed in first are going to be the ones that have a competitive advantage. Also, providing them an opportunity to book a consultation online could become a bigger factor. So start exploring some of those possibilities. Now, these are easy ways. There are easy ways to embed code from most of these platforms now where they can book right on your website. Now, also very, very important is site speed. Site speed matters as it relates to conversions. It also matters for SEO and a lot of other things. But if your website is slow, as dictated by Google Page Speed Insights and GT Metrics, there's tools that can help you figure that out. It will actually marginally impact your conversion rate and the amount of leads that you get. So make sure that your website is optimized to load extremely quickly. And number 12, and this is relatively new in the world of home services, is make sure that you're engaging via SMS, phone, and email via marketing automation. I'm going to be talking about marketing automation more toward the end of today's session. I'm going to talk about how you can leverage marketing automation to follow up with your leads instantaneously, massively improving your conversion rates, and do a lot of that via automatic systems. So whether a phone call goes out, a text message goes out, or a prompted reminder goes out, based on logical triggers that happen, we're finding that our clients who are leveraging marketing automation are getting somewhere between 2 to 3 times higher conversion rates from the leads that they're generating. So these are the 12 critical elements. If you have any questions on these, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or just go ahead and post a comment in the chat that you would like to get more information on one or more of these elements and how to implement them onto your website. So my challenge to you really is to take a hard look at your own website and determine what one thing can have the biggest impact on improving your conversions. What will you commit to optimizing, adding to your website? Maybe it's a few things that we've talked about here that would be even better. Or even just one or two little tweaks to your website could make a big difference in bumping your conversions from, say, 20% to maybe 25% or 30%. So out of all the things we talked about and that are listed in your workbook, multimedia, phone number in the top right-hand corner, better messaging that speaks to why somebody should choose you versus a competition, maximizing your page load speed, having live chat on your website, etc. What are the 3 things that you can implement in your website to have better conversions? So the question becomes, how do you optimize your website for conversions? You really want to think about all these critical elements that you might be overlooking. Don't sleep on these conversion elements because they really will make a difference on conversions, ultimately on your bottom line revenue. I urge you to take a hard look at these elements and really make the effort to make some changes. You will see a difference in how your website performs in the Google search results. And so here's an example of a client of ours. You can see where their website sessions immediately shot up after we optimized their website when we started working with them, as well as the amount of calls that they began getting. Now, these are pretty significant increases, right? It all comes down to optimizing the website for conversion. They were driving more calls and more web form submissions and ultimately converting about 80% of those into booked estimates. As you can see over the last year, the results continue to speak for themselves. The number of website sessions continue to grow. They're getting enough lead opportunities now, and they're booking more and more high-dollar jobs while being able to have the flexibility to pass on the low-dollar jobs and focus on more high-end remodeling work. This all comes down to message-to-market match and having your website built to convert. And so now you're wondering, how do I get my own website to convert like that? How can you drive more high-quality visitors, and how can you convert those into booked appointments? So here we have our website conversion blueprint. This is our guide for helping you implement some of those conversion elements that we talked about before. This guide can be downloaded from our website, so go ahead and check out that URL and download the guide so that you can make sure that you're checking all the boxes. This guide will help you with getting found, to ways that you can better engage with your site visitors, and then how to convert those site visitors into booked appointments. Next, I want to talk about making sure that your message is focused on the right market, what I like to call message to market match. If you can see your customer through their eyes and know what they're looking for, then you can craft your message around that in order to increase conversions. What we're talking about here is understanding your customer avatar, your ideal customer avatar. It's crucial that you understand your customer and what is driving their buying psychology. This includes what their pains and frustrations might be when it comes to working with contractors, as well as their goals and desires and what they want that contractor relationship to actually look like. And so, who is your ideal customer? They're a homeowner, obviously, usually at least 35 years old and into the world of home ownership. That customer can be either male or female, but typically it seems to be the woman of the household that drives a lot of the decisions when it comes to a remodel. This is where dad knows best and lets the process just play out. Tell me if you're familiar with that. And then there are other factors like income threshold. Usually kids are involved that may include home additions or renovating the basement for them. But you also need to think about their pains and frustrations. Maybe they've had a bad experience with a remodeling contractor in the past, or maybe they can't even get a contractor on the phone due to companies being too busy and not answering their phone, or simply not having good follow-up processes in place, which is pretty common. Or possibly they're worried, that what they're envisioning is not really possible within the confines of their current home's layout or their current budget. Other things that are probably going through their mind are the fear of being ripped off and overcharged, or maybe it's the inconvenience interruption of their lifestyle with a major renovation taking place. And on the other side of the coin, what is really driving their decision to moving forward with the home renovation? Is it because their home is finally ready for an upgrade, or do they need more room? Maybe they're looking to increase their home's value ahead of a upcoming sale. What is it about their proposed renovation that will give them peace of mind? Understanding what it is exactly that is driving their decision to remodel is key for you to understand and base your message and dialogue around that. So it's then critical that you're crafting your messaging around those factors. You want to be able to promise them ease of scheduling and getting the job done quickly and on time. Conveying straightforward pricing is important as well, assuring them that their price isn't going to double by the time the project is done. And of course, they want to know you're reputable. In other words, you're licensed and insured, you'll pull the necessary permits within the city, and that you have a great reputation within the community and all of the other clients that you've worked with. Another critical conversion element is being real and authentic. We've talked about that before. When it comes to being genuine and standing out against most of your competitors, a key element is showing who you are and having pictures of on your website of you, the owner, as well as your other staff members and craftsmen. This really lets the customer get to know who you are, and that you're not looking at just another website that says you're great at what you do and you offer great customer service. These things are important, of course, but you want your website to stand out from all the others that aren't putting themselves out there. And speaking of putting yourself out there, there is no better way to let a customer get to know you than through video. Seeing the company owner in a video on the website is no better way for them to get to know you, to know your passion for helping them create the home of their dreams. We always encourage a homepage video that welcomes them to the website. Having that video on other pages of your website for your other services is also very helpful. And an added benefit is that video converts at 8 times the rate of just having lots of text on your website. We all know that people like to watch videos way more than read hundreds of words of text, and it's the reason why you hear about cat videos going viral, right? Videos convert. So to state the obvious, your company's reputation matters. I think we all know by now how important it is to have a great online reputation with plenty of reviews from happy clients to show how committed you are to doing a great job and offering great customer service. One thing that you also want to focus on is getting reviews on as many review sites as possible around the internet. Reviews left on your Google My Business page are the most important, but in order to achieve the best review rating in terms of Google's algorithm, Google wants to see that you have reviews on other platforms as well, such as Facebook, Yelp, YellowPages.com, and other review sites. The more reviews you have, the better. Social proof these days plays a critical role in establishing yourself as the market leader. Obviously, no one wants to do business with a company that has a bad online reputation. One thing that you also need to make sure is that you're showcasing your reviews on your website via testimonials page. And just writing text and putting someone's first name doesn't really count as a real review. There's no way to verify those. It could be anyone or no one, in fact, that actually left that review. The way we do it for our clients is how you see here, is we import the reviews from the various review sites, and then we show the icon from that platform, like Google or Facebook, so that people know they're reading authentic reviews written by real people, and they can go look at those reviews on those real platforms to verify that they're real. Authenticity matters, especially when it comes to reviews and social proof. I think most people know this by now, but having a mobile-friendly website is crucial these days. Your website needs to be mobile-friendly, meaning it's optimized for mobile search, and it needs to be mobile responsive, which means that your website needs to render properly no matter what device is being used to access your website. Google's ranking algorithm nowadays puts a very high premium on mobile optimized websites because it's a known fact that more people are accessing the internet via mobile devices nowadays than they are from desktop computers. Like I said, in fact, that number is about 60% and growing. Also, if your website is not mobile optimized, or if you have website page speed loading issues, consumers are simply going to go back into search results and find a better website to check out, one that doesn't take so long to load, or that looks right when it actually does load. I'm sure several of you on this training webinar today have done the same thing, where you visit a website that was basically a desktop website squeezed down onto a little mobile phone to where you couldn't even read anything without pinching and squeezing with your fingers. or it took the site several seconds to load, with the average attention span of human beings nowadays being only 8 seconds. That's a true fact, by the way. You don't have very much time to capture their attention. So don't throw those opportunities away by not having a mobile optimized website, especially in today's day and age of digital. Another key component is having a click-to-call phone number on your website. Again, with more people accessing the internet from mobile devices these days, Google wants to give the users of their search engine the best user experience possible. This is known as UX, and it's factoring into Google's ranking algorithm more and more these days. Most people are used to looking for the phone number in the upper right-hand corner, so give them what they're used to and make it easy for them to contact you. And knowing that's a click-to-call number is now a ranking factor in Google's algorithm, you just really can't afford not to implement this on your website. One conversion element that is growing in popularity with remodeling companies and contractors is live chat on your website. More and more people are choosing to chat via text message and Facebook Messenger. It's quicker, and a lot of people just want to get something scheduled instead of engaging in a long phone call. You call it a conversation starter. Yes, as a remodeling company, you want to engage with prospective companies and vet them. Make sure they are your ideal customer, that they're not looking for a bargain and things like that. But your website messaging and marketing will already have handled that. Giving people the chance to open conversation without a phone call is only going to keep growing in popularity. So why not get ahead of 90% of your competitors and be ready for this paradigm shift in the way people communicate nowadays? And there are many ways that you can set this up, from an auto bot with predetermined questions and answers, or a live chat operator standing by to handle inquiries. And then a great way is to use a messenger bot like Facebook's that allow you to engage right from Facebook Messenger. We also have a CRM with this capability that we set up for customers, which allows direct engagement via Facebook or via text message. And it also can auto-trigger emails to follow up with a customer as well. So it's all this automation and engagement possibilities that can truly set you apart from your competitors and help give your website users that great user experience that they're looking for. Remember, first impressions last a lifetime. So we've kind of went over the 12 critical elements to optimizing conversions on your website, being authentic with pictures and videos on your website, showcasing your online reviews that are verified reviews, getting the basics in order, like having a phone number in the upper right-hand corner, having a web form for customers to fill out, adding credibility to your website by use of association logos and similar. You also want to make sure that you have relevant calls to action on your website to get people to call you and book an estimate, maybe offering them a discount for certain services, possibly a seasonal offer. And then don't ignore the growth of live chat and giving customers the opportunity to book appointments online, especially if you're like doing roofing or window siding, things like that. Those are things that you really don't have to vet the client too much on. Do you really want to work with this client for 3 months on a remodeling project? So now, maybe everything listed is not the exact right fit for your business model, for the type of company you're running. But the key here is to think about whether your website is fully optimized for conversion and then what elements fit for your website. So my challenge to you is to revisit these key ideas and then decide what you already have implemented on your website and which conversion elements you need to add. Pick 3 of these elements, and in the next 30 days, I want you to implement them on your website. So what will you take away from this training session and implement for your website to increase conversions? The key is, I don't want you to just listen to all of this and then get busy and go back to work and not implement any of these elements. Make a short list for yourself, make some changes, and watch your conversion rates go up and see yourself getting more opportunities booked. You really will see a difference in your business if you follow these suggestions for better website conversions. And so let's talk about now what I think is the biggest marketing issue facing remodelers, builders, and home service contractors, and that is unconverted leads. We talked earlier, you guys are spending a lot of money on advertising, and sometimes you think you need to spend more. Maybe you're thinking you need to increase your PPC budget for Google ads or add in Facebook ads, or maybe you want to spend more money in order to generate more leads from a wider geographic standpoint, or maybe more marketing spend with lead gen providers like House or Porch. But the reality is most of your leads are going unconverted already. What I'm seeing across the industry in home services is that about 50 to 60% of inbound leads go unconverted. People are calling in or texting in. They need a contractor. They're looking to work with you. But maybe you guys are busy, you miss a call, or you don't call them back right away, or there's no follow-up processes in place. Whatever it is, they just don't convert for whatever reason. And it's amazing to realize, but around 90% of web forms don't convert at all. It's often said that the web form is where customers enter their name and email address. It's where leads go to die. Because if they just filled out the form, that they might be interested in exploring possibilities, but you guys, just don't have the time or attention to follow up with those people. Maybe it gets lost in email or something like that, spam. You don't get them on the phone right away and get them booked for an estimate. In other words, leads slipping through the cracks, which happens. And so here's why the reality is leads, inquiries, people looking for these services. If you're not following up with them within 15 minutes or less, preferably just a couple minutes, these leads go cold, right? If they don't have someone calling them almost immediately after they inquire or follow up with them, after they've left a voicemail, they've probably moved on to the next company they find on Google if they're not getting that immediate follow-up. This instant gratification society that we live in. So they'll call somebody else right then and there, and that company gets the first chance to make that first impression. They schedule with someone else and decide they'll circle back to you later, but inevitably, it doesn't usually end up happening. The other thing is that the average customer needs to be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking a job. As you know, the reality is that people submit a form, people that call in and don't book right on the front end, they need to be followed up with. And I would say 99% of our clients and 99% of home service contractors do not have the wherewithal to follow up with their leads immediately and consistently, right? You guys are only taking the opportunities that are ready to book right now. The others slip through the cracks for many reasons. And if they don't book right then and there, you kind of forget about them or say, we'll let them come back, or we'll let them follow up with us when they're ready. The smart remodelers and contractors, the smart home service companies have systems in place to follow up with them a number of times and remain top of mind where those folks are still in that decision-making process. We talked about this earlier, but the fact is today's customer prefers to interact via text message rather than phone, right? And because you don't have immediate follow-up on your leads, you're not following up with them on a consistent basis over time, and you're not leveraging SMS, text messaging, or Facebook Messenger, you leave a lot of opportunities on the table. And so here's the solution that we've developed, and that's leveraging marketing automation to make sure that every single web form on your website gets followed up with within 2 minutes or less. And they get followed up with via phone, via email, and via text message. The key is making sure that we automate the follow-up so that every prospect gets touched at least 5 times, and you're able to engage with them via two-way text messaging. Essentially, what you do is you build an automation into your web forms where once a web form is submitted, you get notifications of the form submittal via email and text, and then you can also have automation triggers that send automated responses to the customer so that they get immediate attention and know that they've been noticed. These new prospects are now in your CRM system too, so now you can keep track of follow-up and run other automated follow-up campaigns on them, as well as set task reminders for follow-up calls as you move them through your sales pipeline. All this works too for when you call them back immediately and you get their voicemail, which happens a lot, right? So instead of being their voicemail and being frustrated that you missed them already, now you have them in your CRM, and automation can help you stay top of mind with them in order to keep that engagement with them while they stay in that decision-making process. And if you put this kind of automation in place just on these web forms, and we call these smart forms, you can take 1 or 2 out of 10 conversion rate and get that up to 9 or 10 out of 10 conversions, and getting the conversion started with the customer immediately. And all because you had immediate follow-up in place. And of course, there's other drip campaigns on the back end that you can put into place to stay engaged with them, to stay top of mind, and have them, share more about your company with these prospective new customers through these automation campaigns. And I want you to think about all the other lead sources that you have too, where somebody submits a request, maybe Home Advisor leads that you may buy, Google local service ads that you buy. The leads come in from those other sources. The same logic applies. The person that follows up most quickly and diligently over time is going to get the job. And if you communicate with your prospect in the way they prefer to be communicated with, which is SMS, text message, or instant messaging, for the most part, Facebook Messenger, you can really maximize the ability to convert those leads into sales. Now, I want to show you some of the math behind this because I really believe the art of increasing conversions is a massive game changer. So here's the math. Let's say we generate 100 leads via whatever source, SEO, pay-per-click, social media, other lead generation sources. Maybe you're at around 30% conversion rate on these leads. Because there's no automation, it's just a person calling in and they schedule a lead or they don't. And about 30% of them do. The other 70% basically become lost leads. So out of 100 leads, let's say we can book 30 jobs at an average ticket of $15,000, which is, again, a low estimate for most of you on this training today. But using that very conservative number, that would be about $450,000 in revenue for those 100 leads. Not very good. Considering it was a pretty substantial number of 100 leads. It's hard to monetize your advertising and hard to grow with those type of numbers. Now, though, we put automation in place. We make sure that every lead that comes in gets an immediate call back, they get immediate text message follow-up, they get put into an email drip sequence over time. As everyone knows, most people making big home remodeling decisions aren't going to be making a decision all in one call. The other thing you can put into place too is every call that comes in that they're a little indecisive, maybe the husband and wife need to talk things over, but ultimately they end up not scheduling a consultation and just say they'll call you back and they hang up. These folks get added into your automation sequence that says, hey, thanks for calling in today. Here's my number. If you need anything, give me a call back, so on and so on. And they get added into your drip email sequence where you can drip out other emails that talk about your company, maybe share some case studies with them, things like that. And what we find that when we put this automation in place, magical things happen. Let's say we increase our conversion rates from 30 to 70% with this type of marketing automation and follow-up. And for this same 100 leads, instead of generating 30 book jobs, you can generate 70 book jobs, which will now be just over $1 million in revenue. So the same investment with the same service, which obviously means you could spend more on marketing, you could be more aggressive with your growth strategy, and you could really take your business to the next level. So really what it does is it makes every lead that generate more valuable. You really, take this seriously and think about implementing this technology in your business, or let us help you using our customized CRM automation that we manage for you, and all you have to do is make the calls and book the jobs. Implementing CRM automation of this caliber tends to be a small investment but pays for itself hundreds of times over. Even just booking 1 or 2 more jobs can mean an extra 6 figures in revenue for your business. That's pretty significant, right? In terms of the impact it can make on your company's growth. So, is your website truly optimized for conversion? Is it speaking to your customer avatar? Are you being real and using authentic imagery throughout your pages and the entire website? Are you using multimedia, which means a video to welcome folks to your website on your homepage, and then videos for each of the different services you offer, explaining why somebody should choose you versus the competition? Are you leveraging social proof, showing your reviews and testimonials that you have all across the web? Do you have your click-to-call phone number in the top right-hand corner where people are conditioned to look for it? Do you have web forms that someone can fill out and request more information and get that follow-up that we talked about? Have you established authority via symbols and association affiliations featured throughout your website? And of course, are you ensuring that you have calls to action that are meant to convert site visitors into callers and tells them exactly what to do next? Are you leveraging special offers and incentives? Maybe financing? Have you made sure your website is mobile optimized? Are you leveraging online chat, letting them engage with you directly, with you in real time, and ideally via two-way text? Using a chat app is great for this, and it gives them the opportunity to book online, which is going to become more and more prevalent in the coming years. And have you made sure that your website is optimized for speed and that it loads quickly? This is such an important ranking factor in Google's algorithm nowadays. You can search on GT Metrics or Google Page Speed Insights, and it will let you know, where your site stands and where there's an issue with your local speed and performance. And finally, are you leveraging the marketing automation that we were talking about? The companies that get on the front end of marketing automations, the ones that make sure their leads get followed up with immediately, that they make sure they have ongoing communication with their prospect, with these prospective clients via text message and email. These are the remodeling companies that are absolutely going to win in the long run. So that's the big picture. We've gone deep and covered many topics. We've showed specific examples. We've looked at the 12 elements that really maximize the conversion rate on your website. I want to make sure you walk away from this training session with at least 3 action items. So if you can indulge me in the comments, and some of you already did this before, but what are the 3 things that you're going to put into place based on what we've just covered here over the last hour? What will you put into place that you will at least look into in terms of helping you improve your conversion rates? Now, go ahead, please post in the comments so that I can see what you've absorbed so far. Okay, so I see the addition of team pictures. Great. Those really resonate well with people. They really do make an impact. A couple of you posted that you will get some videos on your web homepage. Awesome, awesome. Welcome your site visitors with a video. Site speed optimization, Dave says. That's great. It really is so important these days in Google's new updated algorithm. The addition of live chat, tapping into marketing automation. Okay, fantastic. Thanks everyone for posting the feedback. I appreciate your engagement on that. So if you'd like some help with some of this stuff, again, we'd love the opportunity to talk. We build these websites. We optimize these websites. We're absolutely at the top of our game when it comes to online marketing strategies and ranking companies on page 1 of Google. And most importantly, we specialize in working with remodeling companies, builders, and home service companies. We are not one of those generalist agencies that try to work with everybody. You can go ahead and type "Let's Talk" in the comments if you'd like for us to look at your website and come back with a detailed analysis and show you how you can improve conversions and how to rank your website in Google for the most important high-value keywords in your business. Or take a look at what's going on with your paid search campaigns and how to improve the effectiveness of your ads if you want us to do that. And what we do in those strategy sessions is very informative. We're not a hard sell type of company. We just want to arm you with the best information to help you succeed and let you decide on your own best course of action for taking your business to the next level. If you have a great website and it's built to convert and everything's going well, we'll tell you, that we can see that already, and you'll get our stamp of approval that you're good to go, and that will just give you more peace of mind. But if we see opportunity for improvement, we'll also spell that out for you. And it could be just getting clarity on what you need to change with your internal team, your current provider, or it could be looking at and thinking, how much better could Home Remodeler SEO help me implement this and help me get faster results? So if you're ready to engage with us, if you're ready to change what you're doing with your marketing, if you know your results aren't as good as they could be, we'd love the opportunity to talk. You can call us at 855-235-9140 or go to www.homeremodellerseo.com/schedule. That will take you to a page where you can enter some details about your company and get you right on our calendar to go through that analysis process with you. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you got some new ideas and strategies to help you convert better, which means you'll get more leads and more sales and can take your company to the next level faster. If you have any follow-up questions about website optimization, about conversion optimization, about anything internet marketing centric, I love talking about digital marketing. And I urge you to take advantage of our complimentary online marketing plan review. There's no cost or obligation, and I guarantee that you will walk away with actionable steps to implement and begin driving more conversions and ultimately booking more jobs. We'll do an analysis of your online visibility. We'll run a custom keyword list for the most important keywords that somebody would be typing in your area. We'll also run a ranking report to show you exactly where you rank right now on Google and Yahoo and Bing for those most important keywords. We'll look at your consistency of your name, address, phone number across the web, referred to as NAP, and a very important ranking factor in Google's Google Maps algorithm. We'll do an analysis of your online reputation and show you if that's an issue, if there's room for improvement, and we'll take a look at your social media presence and the effectiveness of any ads that you might be running on Facebook, and how to improve those conversions. Completely free, no pressure, no obligation, just here to help. The idea is that you're covering all aspects of our digital dominance method, hitting every spoke on that wheel and maximizing conversions and lead flow online, and basically leaving no stone unturned when it comes to dominating your competition online. Otherwise, I'm open for any questions that you might have. Don't hesitate to reach out to me via email, via phone, or on Facebook Messenger. I'm happy to offer any guidance that I can. I'm always here as a resource for you. And so I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope this training was useful. It was my pleasure to share with you today. Again, I appreciate your time. I also look forward to seeing you next month. We're going to be talking all about what's going on with Google's algorithm and those constant changes. So it's going to be a deep dive into search engine optimization, the 2021 SEO formula that talks about your keywords, you're getting your keyword focus right, getting your on-page SEO right, as well as focusing on your off-page optimization. In other words, your backlinks and your citations, and really helping make sure you're ranking on the first page of Google. So that's it for now. I really appreciate your time. Thank you again, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon.